Hello and welcome. We are going to go through Lab 6.1, which is the introduction to numeration. So, for number one, what do we call the system we use? Our numeration system is called the Hindu-Arabic system. Now we're going to try to write 1182 using Egyptian hieroglyphics. The way that works is we think of each place value and how many of them there are. There's 1/1000, so that's one lotus flower. Do the best I can in drawing these. There is 1/100, so I want to draw one scroll. There's 8 tens for 80, so I want to draw 8 heel bones, and the position that I draw them in doesn't really matter. So to save room, I'm just going to draw 4 heel bones and then 4 below. The only thing that matters is that there's 8 of them total. And finally, there's 2 ones, so I just want to draw 2 strokes. So going backwards, I want to write the following as a Hindu-Arabic numeral. So for each of the symbols, I wanted to see how many of them there are to figure out their value. So there's 2 pointing fingers, that would be 2 10,000s, so 20,000. There's 1 lotus flower, that's 1,000. There's 9 scrolls, so that's 900. There's 8 heel bones, so 80. And 5 strokes, so 5. And then we add them all up to get the value of that entire number, which would be 21,985. That's the Hindu-Arabic numeral that represents. Next, we want to use Egyptian hieroglyphics to add 5,070 and 2,040. The important part here is that we want to stay within the Egyptian system and add the way that they would, rather than just adding the numbers and converting at the very end. So the only rule that we really have is no more than 9 of any given symbol. So we want to circle 10 of these. And those 10 will become, 10 heel bones is really worth 1 scroll. Like 10 tens is worth 1 100. So that's equal to a scroll. We have this leftover heel bone. And then, same idea with the lotus flowers. We actually don't have more than 9, so we're safe there. I want to just draw them all together. Okay, and altogether that's the number we get by adding those to Egyptian hieroglyphics. We want to do the same thing with number 5, only this time they don't give you the visual aid On the homework, they don't do that. They just provide the numbers that you're to add or subtract. It's up to you to draw them out. So we'll do that. So 41, I need to draw that out first. That would be 4 heel bones and 1 scroll. And I'm subtracting off 27. 20 would be 2 heel bones and 7 scrolls. So borrowing works the same way it does in our system. We want to borrow one heel bone and give it to the ones. Well, how many ones will that be? 10. So now we have essentially 11 and we're taking away 7. So we're going to be left with, as we know, 4. And as far as heel bones go, we have 3 heel bones, take away 2, we're left with 1. And of course, we get the answer that we expect, which is 14. Moving on to the Roman system. To convert these in a nice straightforward manner, what we look for are any characters that are out of order in terms of value. So what I want to do is just kind of read the values and see if I should always be going downward in value. So I have 100, I have a bunch of 10s, I have a 5, and a 1. This is all decreasing, we're good. So to determine the value, we just simply add everything that's there. 100 plus 3 10s, so in other words 30, plus 5, plus 1. So we get everyone's favorite number, 136. As far as the second question goes, we do the same thing. We want to look at the individual symbols. So we have M is 1000, C is 100, but then we're back up to 500. Well, that's bad. So anytime we go back up, and this only happens in pairs, I want to circle that pair. Let's keep on going. We have 10, and then we have 100. Again, this is out of order. So I want to circle that pair. And then we have 2 1s. So why don't we circle the pairs? The ones that we didn't circle, I'm just going to write as they are. But the pairs that I circled, that's when you subtract. So I want to think 100 taken away from 500, we get 400. And for this other one, I have 10 taken away from 100, well that's 90. And then finally the 2 at the end is 2. We add what we're left with. And we get 1492. So let's carry through the same way with part C. Let's see if there's anything that's out of order. So inside that over bar we have 50, 10, 5, and 1s. So we're good. There's nothing to circle there. Then we have 100 and then 1,000. That's out of order. So we need to circle that. After that, though, we have 50, 10, 5, 1. We're good. So the CM is the only part where we're subtracting. With the over bar, all that is whatever you were about to say, but times 1,000. Or simply to say 1,000 after that. So the number inside is 50 plus 20 plus 7. So in other words, 527, we should say 1,000. So 527,000. And then the rest is the way that we expect. So CM, we have to subtract 100 from 1,000, and we get 900. And then everything else is in order, so we're just adding the values. L is 50, 2x's is 20, and then VI is 6. So altogether we get this large number. $527,976. Okay, getting towards the end here. If we're going the other way, the thing to note is we should circle any 4s and 9s in the digits. As you'll notice while you do the homework, going from Roman numerals to Hindu Arabic, the only time you ever end up subtracting will result in 4, 9, 40, 90, 400, 900, and so on. So going backwards, it's the 4s and 9s we want to pick out. So I want to circle that 4. Other than that, we write the number exactly how we think we would. 5,000, we can't do 5 M's, that doesn't work. So what we need to do instead is write 5, but to make it 1,000, I put the over bar on it. So 700, we just want to write D for 500 and 2 C's to make 700. So we continue on. The 70 is L for 50 and then 2 X's. And finally for the 4, we know we want to use subtraction to create that. So we're pretty much just thinking of 2 numbers in our homework sheet that subtract to 4. So 1 and 5. But we want to write it as the 1 first and then the 5. And then that's our number. So finally for 7b, we want to do the same exact thing. Circle any 9s and 4s. So for 900, on that list for our Roman numerals, the only option that makes sense for subtracting 2 numbers to get 900 is C and M. So we want to write C first, and then the M, so it's out of order. Same for 40. The only way of making 40 is the 10 taken away from 50, so I want to rate L, and then X. For the 8, there's nothing wrong with that, so we're just going to rate the 5, followed by 3 1s. And that concludes Lab 6.1.